Hello, everybody. My name is Kristin Lui-Martinez, and I am, like I said, a faculty member of the mathematics department. And then Stacey, you want to reintroduce yourself again?
Yeah, Stacey Jones. I work in the Success and Engagement Center, and I'm also one of the co-leads for implementation of GPS. And I've been on the team since day one. So it's really exciting to see faculty join and are interested in this, because we are finding this is a true resource to support our students, whether they're happy with us or not.
And Jose?
Hi, everyone. My name is Jose Q, and I am one of the STEM program counselors, and I'm also one of the GPS ambassadors. And thank you for joining us today. It's Thursday, and we've almost made it through yet another week. So we celebrate the small victories.
And last but not least, we have Janet.
Yes, thank you. It's so nice. I've been scrolling through looking at all the many faces. Thanks to everyone for choosing to join us today for this workshop. My name is Janet Robinson, and I'm the interim dean of counseling here at SMC. I replaced Brenda Benson when she retired in September of last year. So welcome. And actually, I kind of will take it over from here. Again, I just want to thank everyone for choosing to join us today. The title of this specific workshop is GPS, How Can We Help? So I want to begin by just thanking Heather. And then I saw in the chat, Deborah and some others that are already asking some questions, because that's the purpose of this workshop. How can we help you? And you're welcome here no matter what your experience with GPS is to date. Hopefully, many of you are already experienced with GPS. You've already kind of utilized it, taken it out for a test drive, know what it's capable of. So you have some questions today. But even if you are not familiar with GPS yet, or you're very new to it, we welcome you as well, because we really want to encourage as many people as possible to utilize this tool. And why is that? Well, let me kind of just walk through some of the reasons why we think GPS is a wonderful tool for us to use at SMC. And again, we love our acronyms in higher education. So GPS actually stands for Gateway to Persistence and Success, just FYI. And one of the first reasons why we think this is a great tool for us to utilize is that, as many of you know, we're in the process of going through a redesign here at SMC. Redesign for us as an institution, but much of it is kind of being led by some initiatives being pushed down from the chancellor's office, such as utilizing pathways in areas of interest. And so we believe that GPS, which is this technical platform, gives us a way to move towards being more intentional and proactive with how we provide support to students. For example, instead of just waiting for students to come into the counseling office when they have a question, GPS kind of provides a trigger so that if instructional faculty or counseling faculty are making some observations, they can kind of raise some flags or make some referrals so that we can reach out and be proactive in providing some support services to students when they need it. It's also, someone kind of referred to this already, but it, in essence, one of its many facets is that it is a version of early alert. And as we all know, the earlier we can kind of make observations and identify any needs with our students, the better for us to kind of, again, provide that proactive outreach to them. Also, we have some robust and aggressive goals we're trying to meet, such as our Vision for Success goals. And we really are trying to focus on being intentional with our completion and retention and closing equity gaps. We had some wonderful speakers this morning that really spoke to that. GPS will help us do that. And then lastly, but not limited to this, but it's just going to allow us to collaborate more across campus, kind of like what Kristin was alluding to a few moments ago. This is a way for both instructional faculty and counseling faculty and our classified staff and administrators to all come together and kind of form that circle or village of support around our students utilizing this technological platform. So a lot of great benefits to GPS. Let me now turn it over to Stacey, who's going to say a little bit more about kind of what's new with GPS.
All right. So we had some of our student users do a video for us on what they saw as the benefits. And so we're going to show you the quick little 2-minute video.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
No worries.
Hey, have you heard about SMC GPS? SMC GPS allows me to stay in touch with my instructors regarding any questions that I have about my class.
It's a tool accessed by instructors, teachers, and students, which ensures student success at San Juan Hill College.
My instructors get to give me flags or kudos to make sure that I'm doing well in the class and staying on track for success.
Knowing that faculty have access to this tool is very encouraging, especially very encouraging when they send kudos to praise the work you've done or praise the work that you turned in.
My experience with SMC GPS has been great. It gives me confidence knowing that I have this tool to use at my school.
My experience with SMC GPS this past year has been nothing but wonderful. Being able to easily contact my professors and vice versa has been great, especially with my high enrollment courses.
All right.
All right.
Yay.
So that was a video. We were asking some students for feedback, and they did that nice video for us. So we've gone out and surveyed our faculty and staff and students for the last several terms, just to make sure we're doing the things that we need to do to support you in the field. And these are some of the things that the faculty are saying. They like the connection to other services. They like the connection to our student services. One of the others is everyone is on the same page and it no longer feels like it's in the ethos. And then the last is I would like to know, I like that I get to know that my student's been contacted. Our old system did not close that loop, and that's one of the nice things about the system is it does actually let the instructor know that someone has reached out to their student regarding that instructor's concerns. Next slide. And then what the students are saying is that they're very good. They're very glad that the counselors from SMC took the time to reach out to them. They truly appreciate their professors' concern with their academic career, and they thank the counselors so much for calling them, and that they really do appreciate the guidance that SMC is giving our students. So those are just a few of the things that we have been referenced regarding this, utilizing the system. Next slide. We also know that using the system across the nation, they've found that it does increase retention rates by 2 times. We do have 6 million students actively engaged using this. It's the actual system is called Starfish, but we renamed it GPS. That multiple institutions are using this platform. And we have 39 community colleges just in the state of California that are using this, as well as CSUs and UCs in the state. Next slide. And then the last thing is we also, again, survey our faculty and our students in counseling to see what they feel about the system. And all we keep hearing is that it's improving the communications. It gives the students and the faculty members that extra contact to support the students. It expresses care to our student populations. Faculty are loving it because it's an easy referral, 2 clicks, and you know someone is going to call your student back from the counseling department. And then also receiving that increased feedback that that student has had their issues addressed. Next slide. All right, so I'll pass this over to Jose to give you a little bit more information on what's new in the student's view.
And very quickly before you do that, Jose, can I just also acknowledge, I'm looking in the chat and I see that Arena Zujgic is also answering some questions, and Arena is the other amazing co-lead for the GPS implementation team. So thank you so much, Arena, for being here and all that you do. Sorry, take it away, Jose.
Thank you. So when we've gone out and done trainings, we often get questions about, hey, so what about GPS and students? What's the student side of GPS and how do they interact? How do students interact with GPS? So we thought we would show you, so just like faculty have an interface with GPS, so do students. And it really facilitates and creates for them a success network. And it's a success network that provides connections to you, faculty, to counseling faculty, to special program affiliations, if they're involved in special programs, and also to the various student support services on campus, like financial aid and the admissions office and so on. Again, it's a nice hub for them to go into and feel connected. And for this to really be effective, because again, they're able to go in here and be able to connect with faculty. We really encourage faculty to update and create a profile, and also to set up office hours in their GPS profile. So again, I think from the student's perspective, it acts as that essential hub for them to be able to access service quickly and feel connected to the campus. Next. And here's a continuation of that interface for them. They are able to, once they're in their GPS portal, they're able to raise their hand, which is basically be able to raise student raised flags. And there's a variety of those. There's about 6 to 8 of those, and they range from hey, I need to meet with a counselor, to I need help navigating the remote environment, to I need help with childcare services, to I need help paying for books and supplies. So it's a great way for students to be able to quickly access support as they endeavor their courses in their semester. And they're able to do that in the right-hand side of the screen. You could see raise your hand. And they're also able to see their current faculty and the courses that they're currently taking and have taken in the past. Okay, next. All right, so what's new? So there are 2 new flags. And again, obviously this is born out of the situation that we've been in for the past year. These flags were created by Susan Fila, who I believe is the interim dean of health and wellness for the campus. And the first flag basically addresses basic needs. The second flag, students also can access wellness support. It's important to remember that these flags get an automatic email reply with information regarding resources, with information regarding contact information. Dr. Allison Brown did a presentation for the counseling center yesterday, and their website is incredible with the various resources that students can access. So these email replies, both for basic needs and for wellness, have this long list of links and resources for students to be able to use. What's important to remember here, that these are just informational emails and are not being monitored. These should not be raised when a student is in crisis. So in other words, they do not replace the need for faculty in case there is a student in crisis, or if there's behavioral issues happening, to complete and file a CPT report. Next. Okay, and there are also new kudos. So one of the new kudos is that I noticed your effort in class. And this is a great kudo. I call this the neutral kudo, because basically it's just recognizing a student's effort in class. And that could be some effort, it could be more effort. But the idea is that, hey, I noticed that you're in class, I see you. I noticed that you're engaging in some activities. And I feel that with the information provided in this kudos, you can even do better. And I'm here to help. And some of those suggestions are things like visit me during office hours, utilize tutoring for extra support, and talk to me about past or future assignments. The second kudos is thanks for meeting with me. And this was created both for instructional faculty, but also for counseling faculty, just to reinforce when a student does follow up and meets with you, to say, especially from the counseling perspective, to say, hey, thanks for stopping by today. It was great talking to you about educational planning, and it was great helping you complete this application, or it was great talking to you about sort of, time management resources. So we're excited about the addition of these 2 new kudos. And as Stacey mentioned earlier, one of the things that GPS is not is It's not static, right? It is very dynamic. And again, we are constantly taking input from faculty. So if there are additional kudos that you think might be interesting, please email us and we will definitely take them into consideration. Next.
And Jose, just before we move to the next slide, just for the thanks for meeting me kudos for instructional faculty, what I like is if I did raise a flag and I had a difficult conversation with a student regarding their late assignments or low test scores, I can resolve the flag, but then follow it up with this kudos for saying, thanks for meeting with me. You're taking this proactive approach to your education.
Excellent. And I think this was a little bit in the chat. So one of the latest developments is, and something that was very in demand from faculty was to try to get a link to GPS and Canvas. And so that has happened. It is a link. So now you're able to access GPS through Canvas. It takes you to the GPS system. You're also able to access it through the GPS website and through the drop-down menu from the opening site of the SMC website. And again, somebody mentioned that Irena is with us, Irena Zujic, and thanks to the incredible hard work of Irena and the folks from the English and the math department, they were able to now be able to have appointments be created through the GPS system for both the English, the Writing and Humanities Tutoring Center, and the Math Tutoring Center, the Math Lab. Thank you. And again, so as you know, one of the communications for GPS is flags, right? And the flags that mostly concern you are sort of flags that you raise to alert in a very sort of, I guess, encouraging and supportive and how can I help way. Flags that deal with academic issues, like maybe there are missing assignments or there are low quiz or test scores. And one of the ways that those flags are closed now is that we would like for you to choose a reason for closing the flag. And you have three choices. The concern was successfully addressed, the concern was not successfully addressed, and item was raised in error. So again, just as a recap, and for those who are new to GPS, these flags are one-to-one communication between a faculty member and their student. And again, the whole idea is to alert students in a supportive and encouraging way that there are academic issues happening, but that the faculty member is there to support them and help them. And that loop between the faculty member, the instructional faculty member, and the student is closed in this manner here with this window. And lastly, the financial help referral is now called the General Financial Aid and Scholarship Info Referral. And that was basically to sort of let students, when this referral was originally created, a lot of students were using it and thinking that they were going to actually meet with a financial aid representative. They're meeting with a counselor, and counselors are able to provide a good amount of information about the general financial aid process and about scholarships, but they are not financial aid technicians. So this was the title was basically to sort of let students know that they were going to get general information and not specific financial aid information provided by a financial aid technician or specialist.
All right, so we've been alluding to all of these kudos and flags and referrals in the system. So let me just, if you haven't seen it before, let me go through and explain all of these different items we can raise, but also it's a good review if you've heard it previously. So the framework we kind of have for it is kudos, acknowledge your students and their progress and achievements in the course. Flags are to have a conversation for instructional faculty to have a conversation with the students. And then referrals will connect students to third-party services on campus. So for kudos, what I like about it as an instructional faculty is that I can acknowledge my students and their successes in the class. And as Jose mentioned, we do have one that is now for acknowledging their effort in the class. And I think it's important for students to feel that they are acknowledged, that the instructor does know that they are in the class, especially now that we're teaching remotely. It's harder to form those connections with our students. So you can raise the kudo for students who are doing well, like we mentioned, to acknowledge their effort or to thank them for meeting with you. Raising flags. What I like about it is it helps me initiate those difficult conversations with students, but it's also a great way for me to contact the students who I see early on are struggling in my class. I sometimes feel like I'm on the front line of seeing when students are having difficulty in class, because that typically will mean that they're having difficulty outside of academics, and that's impacting them. For students, it's helping build a culture of support for them. And the earlier you can use it, the earlier we can support our students and retain them at SNC. So what I've been doing is raising flags for students who early on missed the first day of class. And for us during spring semester, it's a hard transition from winter to spring. I contacted a student and he reasonably believed that we had a week between the terms. And so I let him know that no, we did indeed start right after winter ended. And it's sometimes the students just need that nudge. Maybe they just need that extra bit of help from you to understand your expectations within the course. Referrals are to connect students to student services on campus. And this is part of the replacement of the early alert system that Janet and Jose mentioned earlier. And what I like about using it is when I do connect a student to academic counseling, I get a message back stating that they were able to meet with the student or they weren't able to contact the student. I just know that something happened. And so just in general, whenever you use the system, just assume the student can see what you're typing. And it's not to say that we would say anything terrible about our students, but I know when I talk to colleagues, I would talk to my colleagues about my students in a way that I wouldn't necessarily want my student to hear. But anything you type, just assume that the students can see your message. And so what we have here are just some examples of what you can say when you're writing the comments in for different items. So for an attendance concern for a flag, you can say, I noticed you missed the last 2 class meetings. I hope everything's all right. Please see me during my office hours, and or you can email me to set up a meeting and let's discuss the material you missed and get you back on track. Academic counseling referral can be a variety of things. So for this particular example, I'm trying to reach out to the student another time because I haven't heard anything back from the flag that I raised. So I haven't heard back from you yet. I'm going to raise this referral to connect you with an academic counselor. And this is me just sort of trying another way to get to the student. If you haven't used GPS and you want to also introduce it to your students because you want to engage with them through GPS, we do have a class assignment that you can use, and it helps the students learn how to log into the system, but then also locate the raise my hand feature for students. And what I like about this is even if we don't use the system extensively in our courses, the students can still advocate on their behalf by using the raise my hand feature. So if you'd like to use it, we have a copy of it on our website, and you can also email us at gps@snc.edu and we can forward you a copy of that.
All right, progress surveys, everybody's favorite, right? Woo! We saved the best for last, maybe. Again, and this was brought up, I think, in a chat question, we really would love, and GPS is made to be used throughout the semester. We encourage you to use it often and throughout the semester, especially with things like kudos, which are the supportive and encouraging communication, which really can help students be more successful. So, however, we did create, or the system comes with progress surveys, which are really geared to make your lives a little easier. And the progress surveys make your life easier by being concentrated. So they happen within 1 week periods throughout the semester. How many of you survived the March 8th through March 14th period? And there are a few more to come. And so in addition to being concentrated, the other thing that makes them useful is that you're going to get nudges, reminders, communication when they are opened and when they are closed. And the last thing that makes them easier for you is that you're able to have a collection of kudos and flags and referrals that can be issued for one class, one time from one screen. So it makes it easy. So we encourage you to participate in the progress surveys. But again, you can engage in using the system in assigning kudos, assigning flags, assigning referrals throughout the semester. You don't have to wait for the progress surveys. As you can see, 2 are coming up. And the next one for the 16-week long semester, the classes will be April 1st through April 9th. So giving you a heads up. Anything else you want to add to that, Kristin?
If you might have mentioned this already, but if you missed a progress survey like I did, you can still, I'm sorry, Stacey, you can still raise these items at any time in the system. So please don't feel pressure to use the progress surveys. But what I do like is that it's a great reminder to use the system to reach out to all of my students.
And I'll just add that, that is what the progress survey is a reminder for you to let us know how your students are doing and let your students know how they're doing. But like Kristin and Jose said, you can use the system anytime you want throughout the term. So I'm going to wrap us up. So we've got about 10 minutes left. So I just want to thank everyone. We do have faculty ambassadors for the GPS system. Jose and Kristin are 2 of our lead ambassadors. And then we also have Eleni from English, Glenn from Sciences, Lori Williams, and Tiffany Anubu from Counseling. And I am also here as a resource, as well as Irena. Anytime you need help, you can always email us at gps@smc.edu. We're always looking for feedback, positive and negative. We can only make this better if you let us know what's working for you and what's not. So please just let us know. And then the last slide. So again, you can email us at the gps at smc.edu. For any questions, one-on-one trainings. I've been putting in some of the chats that if you have questions, we're more than happy to do one-on-one trainings, or just jump on, call real quick to help you with any questions you have during your progress surveys. I spent all last weekend doing progress surveys with faculty. So just let us know when you need help. And then we also do have a website, smc.edu/GPS. We have little how-to videos, how to do your progress surveys, how to set up your profiles. And I just want to end on this note, this is truly a faculty-driven system, that your support means so much to your students. And what I really utilize this system for, and what I've been able to see what this system does, is it allows us to take some of that heavy lifting off of your already amazing shoulders as a faculty member. You guys are already doing so much for your students and supporting them in every way you know how. This system allows you, with just a couple clicks, to be able to hand your student off to a counselor, to be able to let your student know that you're worried about them because they missed a class, or that they are missing an assignment or two or had a low quiz score, you know, and right now, especially these days, and our student populations, they like that reinforcement. They really focus and really feel positive about the reinforcement. Some, everyone each is their own, but I really do see this as a way to support you, the faculty member, for everything that you already do so much for your students, to allow us to take some of that heavy lifting off of you and to be able to support you and get our students and our students of color supported in a way that we need to make sure we can to retain them and to make sure that they're being as productive and successful as possible. So I just want to thank everyone for coming today and coming to our presentation. If anyone from our group wants to add any last minute messaging, go for it, and then we'll open up to a couple questions. I will let you know that we are not going to show the system today because we are being recorded and we do not want to show student information. So that's why we did not show a live version of the system. But we are happy to do one-on-ones. They can take 5 minutes, they can take an hour. It just depends on your questions. So please just email us at GPS at SMC or check out our website. You might have your questions answered already with info we have on the website, but please feel free to reach out. We are more than happy to sit down and walk you through the process and get you set up in the system.